All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today is a very exciting day for us for two reasons. The first being that it is 2nd of April, which is celebrated as World Autism Awareness Day across the world. I remember the first time I heard this word, it was, I think, about 18, 19 years back. And I remember my family and I being so confused because we did not even know what the word meant. But over the last 2 decades, we've seen how awareness around autism has increased. We've seen acceptance towards our community grow, but often it can be a very lonely journey. And sometimes you don't understand if you belong. But days like this and the World Autism Awareness Day has a very, very special place in our hearts because I think we can see all of us come together. We see all of us unite. And then it serves as a reminder that we're not alone on this journey. So I want to thank you all for coming out, extending your support. We all have so much gratitude for you. When I started Reservoir, our main goal was to create a platform where we can find trustworthy resources, find support, and lobby for greater inclusion. The core of our vision has always been to make support and services more accessible. In the last few years, we've worked with so many families, with professionals in this space. We've launched so many campaigns that has truly allowed us to understand what happens on ground, what are some of the challenges that we face on ground. And I think with all of these learnings and all of our experiences, we created something that we're very, very excited about. And that's the second reason of us all being here today. It's my honor and privilege to share with you months of hard work, and for Gary, years of hard work, Avatar Adventures. Before I start and before I tell you everything about what this adventure looks like, I want to introduce my two guests of honors who are instrumental and are also the two main pillars of this program. Please welcome Gary Jesh. He's the founder of Invirtua, which is an animation for autism organization based in Nevada, United States. Gary has spent the last few years creating these beautiful characters called avatars, which children absolutely seem to love. And I've seen some of these children fall in love with these characters. And I'm very excited for you all to experience that with us today. Thanks so much, Gary, for everything that you do for us and for being here today. Next up, Yashna. Yashna Rajani is an audiologist and a speech language pathologist. Her years of experience working with children with diverse needs truly allowed us to explore the potential of this program. And we'll talk to you soon about what our experience with the pilot has been so far and how you can become a part of it. A little bit more about Avatar Adventures. So Avatar Adventures is a highly engaging and effective virtual learning tool, which allows every child to learn in a very unique way. I personally believe that our current education system has some limitations which does not allow all children to learn in the same way. But I think Avatar Adventures breaks past that limitation. Sorry. So Gary introduced his Avatar buddies at a National Autism Society conference in the United States, and it has invested a lot of time in conducting research, which focuses on the usability and effectiveness of the software. He's currently working with several clinics at UNR to help children on the spectrum. Gary, I think it would be really exciting for everyone to see the characters first before we talk about the benefits, before we talk about what the program looks like. So I want to invite you to share what motivated you to start Avatar Adventures, what motivated you to start Invirtua, and then also give us a sneak peek into the world of these avatars.
Well, thank you, Shreya. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you and your colleagues here on this webinar. And thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. My work with Invirtua comes at a time in my life when I wasn't quite sure exactly how I was going to be spending my retirement, I guess you would say. And it turned out that the technology that I had been using in marketing and in entertainment uh, appears to be very beneficial for those on the spectrum. And that's actually the same results of an article I read about 25 years ago predicting that avatars and interactive cartoon characters would be beneficial. So the truth is coming around finally, and my company is very dedicated to doing this. When I was growing up, um, one of my many cousins was affected by this same type of learning disability, and there wasn't much that could be done in those days. And so I was very much touched by his circumstances and wanted to find a way to help. And it looks like we're on the right track. So thank you for this opportunity to bring this technology to your home country of India, where we can also make a difference in the lives of children there.
Absolutely. I think we met a few months ago, and when you showed me what the avatars looked like, and when I heard about all the work that you'd been doing with kids there, I knew that the scope of this was much more than just for children in the United States. And I knew that even children in India could really, really benefit from a software like this, from a program like this. Of course, I understand that there are cultural differences between our two countries, but I think this is the beauty of the software. I think it transcends all bars of geographies, of language, and just it always amazes me how personal and how unique each experience for each child can be. I would now request you to show us what these avatars look like.
Sure. So the technology itself is about creating a digital cartoon character and then using this special software that we designed and worked with to bring that character to life in real time so that when I speak, it speaks, and I can control its facial expressions, the animation on the screen. And so that's what I'm going to show you. And the way it works is I'm wearing an extra microphone down here so that when I speak into it, the computer picks the sound of my voice up, and that's what makes the lips move. And then on this device, which is a digital tablet, I'm actually moving my pen around on the surface of this tablet. And that's how I'm controlling the avatars so that they move around. So if you can kind of picture me doing an animation live with these tools, let's show you what it looks like. So the first character that I'm going to show you this evening is an avatar by the name of Marley. And Marley is a cartoon fish. Hi, everybody. It's me, Marley. Oh, it is so great to be here in Mumbai, India, at least for a little while, to speak with all of you. And as you can see, there's a lot going on under the ocean here. And the fun part is getting to meet all of these nice children that are special. And we really enjoy talking to them. So you can see I have all these various facial expressions. I can be surprised and look around, or maybe I can just be a little sleepy. But there's all sorts of facial expressions that I can do to bring my storytelling to life in real time. And I also enjoy just giving a nice happy face with a big smile to everybody. So that's a little look at Marley. There you go. What did you think of that?
I think that was awesome. Unfortunately, we've asked everyone to keep themselves on mute. so that we can focus on the speaker. But if everyone could type their comments in the chat box, that would be very encouraging.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I guess
Awesome.
we'll just keep going here then.
Hmm.
Actually, over the years, Shreya, I've designed more than 30 characters. And we're using a video game technology, but not so much of the game, except for the part about how the characters are rendered in real time.
Hmm.
And to demonstrate that, let me introduce you to another character. This character, I believe, is one of yours also. In fact, Shreya, you have performed this character yourself with your children there. And I hear you do a great job. I don't know if
Yeah,
I could do as well as you, but let's give it a try.
yeah, he's my favorite.
Ho, 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 hello there. My name is Kickoff. That's right. And I am the last remaining dinosaur stand up comedian. Ho, ho, ho. A lot of people say, well, hey, Kickoff, are you from Jurassic Park? I say, no, no, it's Jurassic Trailer Park. Oh, oh. Well, there's one bad joke for me tonight. I promise I won't do any others, but better get out of here and see what's going on. Well, or maybe I won't. I'll just hang out. What do you think? What would you like me to do?
Hang out a little bit more.
Hang out. Good choice. Good choice. And even Yashna likes me to hang out, right, Yashna?
Yeah, surely.
So you can see how easy it is for us to interact right over a video call. And this is how we are actually delivering our technology into the home so that we have a home based education technique, right? And so it's very safe for the children, very convenient for the parents. And not only is it safe and convenient, but it's quite educational because the folks that run all of this are very, I guess you would say, conscientious. That is, we really care and we're really dedicated to the welfare of the child.
Absolutely. Um, Gary, it would be interesting for everyone to see how Kickoff can be in different environments. So if you could show him in probably another part of the jungle or, just anywhere else in the world.
Well, everywhere else in the world, I suppose. The cool part of this is that our animation system actually lets us incorporate video backgrounds and still backgrounds and overlays, so we can create content many times for the sessions that I do with the children. Here, I actually create graphics using PowerPoint, and then I set those up and work with the therapists and caregivers to take the children through a story, maybe a storytelling exercise or a workshop type of format, all depending on the curriculum that we decide that's best for the child. So, oh, there is Kickoff. And let me give you a little look there. So here I am on my favorite spot in the stream, or here in the jungle, or maybe I'll just turn around here and let's see. I know I can do this. There we go. Ho, ho. Look at that. Isn't that some great animation? I could do this for days. In fact, I think because the computer is just running now, I could do this for days. But our software is very stable and it's a lot of fun for us to work with. And you know what they call us folks here that run these animations, Shreya? Whoa, there we go. Let me turn around. See, here's a little PowerPoint slide that we put together with a lovely little American blonde girl. You know what they call us, Shreya? They
What do
call
they
us
call her?
avatar pilots.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
What a great name that is, huh? Oh, so Gary is an avatar pilot, and so is Shreya. How about that, everybody?
Yeah, I think that's extremely
Indeed. How
exciting.
about that? So
Um,
there's one other avatar I'd like to show your guests tonight, if I may.
Absolutely. Everyone seems to be asking a question, which is it compatible with other languages? So, absolutely, it's compatible with any kind of language, since the avatar pilot or the person who's behind the avatar can talk in whichever language they know. So, again, we can use Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, as long as the avatar pilot is fluent in that language.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, as an avatar pilot, it's my voice. It's the voice of the avatar. So, whatever I speak is the language that the child is going to hear. And when we set it up, our sessions, not only can the child see and hear the avatar, perhaps on the home laptop or the home computer in a tele session, but also we use a webcam so that we can see and hear the folks on the other side, just like Shreya, you and I are right now in this session, and you folks that are attending this. So that's the beauty of using video conferencing to deliver these experiences, the avatar adventure. So Shreya, we've told a little bit about, you know, Marley's experiences in the avatar adventure, maybe talking about the world of Under the Sea. And we went to Kickoff, which is a popular character for little boys. Dinosaurs are always super intriguing, right? Another way that the technology can be used is to actually create a safe space to practice areas where a child with a learning difficulty may have some troubles and just needs a little bit of guidance and just needs to practice, maybe get a little coaching or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate one of our avatars who looks like a young man. And this avatar's name is Malachi. And I'm going to use my regular voice. And then we'll ask Malachi to speak a little bit, if that's okay. All right.
Of course.
So let's give that a try. Okay, so we see this avatar, and you know, he's actually looks like the attendant behind the counter at a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant. And one of the ways that we used this character was really effective. There was a young boy who had this difficulty of anxiety and nervousness. And when he would go into the fast food restaurant with his mother, he just was not able to really ask for his order. He would look around and people were behind him waiting for their turn. And maybe the attendant behind the counter was in a big hurry and just wanting to get done and didn't really give him much time to work it out. And so he just could not order his lunch. It was kind of sad, you know, that this young boy just wanted to do something very simple that we take for granted. And so what we did is we created an environment where this boy could actually practice making his order. So in that case, Shreya, it looked kind of like this. So Malachi says, "Hi there, young man. What would you like for lunch?"
Hi, can
And
I have, I can
please,
role play with you.
thank you. So, what would you like for lunch?
Can I have some fries and a pizza McPuff, please?
You said fries and a pizza McGruff, right?
Yes.
Yes, actually, at the moment we're out of the fries. They're still cooking. Would you mind waiting a minute or two?
Uh, okay. Okay.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And would you like something to drink?
No, no, thank you.
No,
Um,
nothing to drink. Are you sure?
yes.
Maybe a
Uh,
cola?
no, that's my mom says that's bad for my teeth.
Oh, yeah. Well, moms know best. How about a milkshake?
Yes, I think a milkshake would be nice. It's quite hot right now. Milkshake would
Yeah,
be nice.
yeah. That would taste better than a hot tea at the moment, I'm sure. Whoa.
Yes,
I hope I didn't surprise you too much. So, okay, I think your fries are just about ready. So that'll be, um, well, here in the US, that would be $2. So do you have any money? Would you like to pay for your meal?
yes. Can I pay with a card?
Oh, yes, we accept cards. See, right over there is the card reader. If you'd like to just go ahead and insert your card, I can take the payment.
Awesome. And then tap. We can
There you
also,
go.
yeah, we can also help like with more props that we can um, sort of readily keep with the person who's practicing, so it can be as interactive as we want it to be.
Absolutely. And so typically the avatar pilot would work out some of the issues with the parents in advance, right? So that when they start the session, they kind of know where they're going to go with this and where the
Mm.
places are where, like, say, the parent or the therapist might want to prompt the child to help him over a difficult spot. And so we did this with one of our young people in the clinic here where I live. And actually, in 2 weeks after working with the child this way, the young man ordered his own lunch on his own in the local fast food restaurant, much to his mother's surprise, I might add. And she was so excited. She came back to our the next session and she was just said, I would have never thought that he could do it. But he was able to just because of this simulation that we had created, using the technology. So that was one of our happiest days also. We all, have this great sense of pride that we share with the mothers and the fathers and the therapists and the children when there's a success like that. So that's really the best reward of all for our work.
Absolutely. I think Yashna and I have experienced
Yeah.
small victories as well. And I think it gives us so much joy when we see that that friendship is being formed. And I think I'm going to get Yashna talk about this a little bit. Yashna, if you could share your experience, right? You worked with kids for so long. How do you think Avatar Adventures is a value add to this experience?
So I have been working with children with autism, ADHD, social communication difficulties, and other learning differences for a while now. And being a speech therapist, we work on the child's receptive language, expressive language, attention, feeding issues, articulation, voice, fluency, social skills. There's an overall look that we take at a child. So, when working with children at times, certain skills we see the child is doing beautifully with me in the session. But for some reason, they're not always generalized, or they're generalized with just a very particular set of people. So, I always had this feeling that there's something missing, like there's some link which is just not complete. And many a times with some children, it gets very difficult to motivate a child into doing an activity, especially
Mhm.
for parents to motivate the child into doing something which is a non preferred choice of activity for the child. So at that time, when Shreya, you came to me with the whole Avatar Adventures concept, I was very intrigued. I found the concept very interesting, and especially the fact that there's another person behind the avatar. So it's not a pre recorded message, there is another person there. So there's a true two-way conversation taking place. And being especially in India, we're taking care of the multicultural background and the multilingual background, whereas the avatar can speak in Hindi, English, Marathi, whatever the child is comfortable with. And
Mhm.
due to the lifelike characteristics of the avatar, especially thanks to you, Gary, it makes it very interesting, very interactive, and very motivating for the child to really respond to it compared to responding to me. So I instantly thought, this could be it. This can be that. This can be the main thing that bridges the gap for us from the therapy session to the real world, as this is a program which is goal based and custom made for each child. And in today's day and age, our children are growing up with technology. We are in a world where it is technology. So why not use this technology to help them learn something? Not only make it interesting, not only make it fun and entertaining, but at the same time make it a learning experience. So it's a win-win for everybody in that situation.
Absolutely.
So I think for me, Avatar was just that fit my criteria. I think for the things I felt were lacking, and I was like, yeah, this is it. Maybe, this is what will help us complete that transition for each child. And this could be that missing link between the two.
100%. No, I think, Yasha, let's also talk about the pilot that we've done with a few children over the last 5 weeks. I think for me, it was really interesting how every child responded very differently. Everyone's equation with the character, even though we were using kickoff for most parts with all of them, they all have very independent relationships, right? I'm I'm not sure if I should use the names of the children. So I think with the first child, what we observed was that he was really good at computers. So for him, it was very interesting to see how this is moving, how the character is speaking, and that's what caught his eye. And then over a course of time, he finally settled in and he understood that it is a computer character. I also remember when, like, oh, I think by the third, fourth session, he was actually like very fond of Kickoff, and he said, "Can Kickoff come to my house to meet me?" And then we had to ask him, can a computer character leave the computer, right? And then so it was very interesting for me to see that he also had questions like, "Oh, I love this Bollywood film star. Can he also come to meet me through this computer?" So I could see that he was relating the applications of the software very, very quickly. What do you have to say about that particular case? Anything interesting that you noticed?
Yeah, so I think it's been a learning experience for you and me, I think, this whole pilot process. So it was very interesting to see for him initially, whereas we had one child who was just fascinated with Kickoff coming on and just wanted to chat with him. Whereas we had this other child, which Shreya was talking about, who was like, okay, you're talking, but how?
Mm-hmm.
How are you moving? How can
Mm-hmm.
you respond to me? How do you know how you praising me? Because normally I would be the one who would say, good job. And he's like, oh, how is he doing that? So I said, because he likes the way you're working. So he had more of an outlook of, okay, what's happening? And which I really liked was he picked up a lot on the body language of the avatar, which I did not see him picking up otherwise. So he picked up the non-verbal cues of the avatar. He picked up the avatar's body language. And in one session, he actually said, oh, you look sad. Why are you sad? Which had not
Absolutely.
happened before. So I was
Absolutely.
very thrilled. I think I was on top of the world because for me to explore that had to be a very obvious expression and an extreme expression, which otherwise individuals don't show. I don't have to cry every time I'm upset. My expression and my body language could just indicate I'm upset, which I think with Kickoff, because he built that bond, he picked it up. And in fact, he even correlated to, is it because I am doing this? So he realized that there's a communication breakdown happening and it's because of me. So he identified the problem. Just he needed our help to figure out, okay, how do I repair this? How do I repair this communication breakdown that has happened right now? So I think that was very interesting.
Yeah.
No, I think absolutely. And I think what's beautiful about this is that we can take the pressure off from the child of behaving like perfectly in that session, and the character is never disciplining the child. So they're equals in this interaction. They're friends, right? There is no therapist child relationship in this session. So I think one of the interesting things that I observed for both our children was when we could put Kickoff in the same situation that they've already been in. So every time we would meet the parents after the session for feedback, we would try and understand what their week looks like and then give them context in the session that we did on Sunday with them, right? So, for example,
Yeah.
it was really interesting for me to see how one of the kids responded when Kickoff was being was not being invited to a birthday party or was not being accepted by his friends fully. So how he encouraged Kickoff to keep trying and to probably play games that other children like, because he didn't play games that other children liked himself. And then we could see slowly he realized that Kiko was becoming sad when other children didn't accept him. And then he knew he had to do something to help him out. And I'm hoping that we can see that transition even in his real life, as and when he meets more children.
Yeah, I think, the whole process of keeping in touch with parents regularly, we even identified situations, it could be behavioral or a social situation, at that moment where the parent found it difficult to navigate and difficult to deal with at that time. But the same experience when we put it on kickoff, because when it's me and the child doing it, one is there's always this, am I right? Was I right? That kind of an equation comes in. But whereas kickoff was a friend. So even
Absolutely.
in my role play situations earlier, if I would ask him, can you help me with this? The response would be, you know how to do it. Because they wouldn't believe I don't know how to do that.
Absolutely.
They're like, but you're teaching me, you know how to do this. I know you know it. But whereas with kickoff, it was interesting to see something which they themselves have not done in a particular situation, but advising the child to do that. And at the same time, in the following week, applying that to themselves. I had this child, Shreya, who has applied the same thing to himself and actually played another game, which he has never done before, but played a game suggested by his peer, okay, for 15 to 20 minutes, but did that. And then eventually said, okay, no, I'm bored. Let's go back to my game. But at least he gave that an opportunity. And that's why his peers stuck around to continue the interaction with him, which otherwise has not happened before.
Sure. No, 100%.
Seems like they're getting some confidence. So self-confidence is taking over where there used to be anxiety, right? And I think that that's one of the biggest factors as they go through their lives, is to learn how to displace the anxiety and to be calm, confident learners.
Absolutely. I think someone has requested if we can do a demonstration in Hindi, right? And I would love to do that. So if just give me a minute, I'm gonna just switch some things at the back, and then I'm gonna be back with a character. In the
Okay, great.
meantime, if anybody has any questions to ask, please feel free to do so, and then we can talk a bit more.
So Shreya has been training for about the last 8 months to be an avatar pilot. And she's done a very good job of learning how to do it. There are some computer skills that are required, as well as being compassionate and sensitive with these kids and tuning into them and that. So I'm very proud personally to be associated with her and with you, Yashna, because just in the last few weeks since you have started your pilot program here, I've been getting these great reports from you about how things are going. That's so great.
Yeah, I think even the first time I remember discussing, Shreya got in touch with me over a call and she said, this is what I have in mind. This is what I'm thinking. And I said, okay, you know what? If you don't mind, before we discuss anything, I would like to see it. So, before we get it, because she asked me, how do you think it'll help? Do you think your speech therapy and communication goals can be met with this? Can we make it goal-based, for our population? So I said, can we see it? And the first time when I saw it and I said, yes, this is very interactive. It is interesting. Oh, we have kickoff back again.
Hello. Hi, Yashna.
Hi.
अब हम थोड़ी देर हिंदी में बात करेंगे बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोगों को देखना है अगर किक ऑफ और बाकी सारे कैरेक्टर्स हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं. I think one of our participants, I think it was Avinash. Avinash could unmute himself. We can have a chat with Kickoff.
Yeah.
Avinash.
Till I think he unmutes just a little bit. Our pilot that we've done, we've not done it with children only in English. We had children who were using Hindi and even Marathi. So we have done our pilot even in the two languages also.
Absolutely. So like you can see, his Kickoff किसी भी language में बात कर सकता है. बिल्कुल कोई restriction नहीं है उस way में. हमारी लैंग्वेज बिल्कुल सिंक्ड रहेगी, बिल्कुल कोऑर्डिनेटेड रहेगी, और सारे कैरेक्टर के लिए ट्रू है, जो भी कैरेक्टर गैरी ने आपको पहले दिखाए। अगर किक ऑफ उदास है और किक ऑफ सैड है, तो हम हिंदी में भी बिल्कुल वो एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं कि किक ऑफ का दिन आज अच्छा नहीं जा रहा। आपका बच्चा, हम हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स भी यूज कर सकते हैं, व्हाटएवर
Exactly.
विद, और ये हम
Because
आपसे
even today,
समझेंगे।
एग्जैक्टली क्योंकि हम भी जब आज बात करते हैं, हम सारे वर्ड शुद्ध हिंदी में नहीं बोलते। हमारे साथ में भी वो चेयर चेयर निकल जाता है, या कुर्सी। We use our words as per our language. So the code switching and code mixing with languages is what we are doing. So as what your child is comfortable with, the same thing we'll be using. Hence, as I said, the parent is a part of this process. अगर आप हमें वो information नहीं देंगे, हम वो आपके बच्चे के लिए use नहीं कर पाएंगे। I think Mr. Avinash is here.
Yeah. So can I say something?
Yes,
Yes,
Can I
please.
say something? Okay. So this is very interesting. See, I understand that this character can speak in any language. She's my daughter Aditi. She's 30 years old and she's autistic and MR also. But see, I mean, verbal
Hi,
communication
Aditi.
is there, but little bit. I mean, say hi. Say hi.
Hi, Aditi.
Hi, Aditi. So
Wow.
nice to meet you.
Happy. She's so happy. Okay. So one thing I want to understand. Suppose I take this software or purchase this software. This licensing will be for 1 year or all time. Something about the commercial aspect also. That is number one. And number two, agar meri ladki Hindi, if my daughter is comfortable in Hindi, how to do that? Because it will be interactive kind of thing. It will be interactive kind of thing, and maybe it is AI based or something. So how to
No.
operate that thing? Yeah. So yeah, please tell me.
So the it's actually it's a session, like a video call. So we're not selling anybody software. You're not, you're not installing this on your computer. You are joining a telephone video call session with Shreya and Yashna, who are providing a personal service to you and your daughter over the video call lines over the internet. So that there's nothing that you purchase as far as software. There's no artificial intelligence. It's simply a trained person, avatar pilot, who is controlling the avatar in real time to give your child a personal experience, to be your child's friend, cartoon friend, and to help.
तो ये आपके लिए, जैसे वो अदिति रिस्पॉन्ड करेगी, हम उसके हिसाब से रिस्पॉन्स कर रहे हैं आपके लिए। अगर मैं आपको एक सॉफ्टवेयर पहले से दे दूं, वो अदिति के लिए कस्टम मेड नहीं रह जाएगा, वो एक प्री फिक्स्ड रूल्स होंगे, वैसे होगा। तो हमारे हम नॉट ओनली कॉन्वर्सेशनल ऑन द स्पॉट है, बट इवन हमें गोल्स चाहिए। वी नीड टू मीट आवर एम विद समथिंग, कम्युनिकेशन गोल्स या जो भी हो गया। So इसीलिए having another person who's setting these goals and interacting with you is very important.
Okay. So basically what you are saying that, I mean, suppose I will have to book that appointment, fix the time slot, and then you'll be available. So on day-to-day basis, maybe some weekly program or monthly program. I mean, that is between us. And then what is the next stage? It will always be confined to only one-to-one interaction, or maybe after say 6 months or 1 year, there will be a software, maybe because I'm an ex-scientist of DRDO, so maybe I can help her in understanding. See, because there's a lot of self-talking. So suppose there is a character with whom she is familiar with, then maybe that character becomes a friend after 6 months or 1 year. And then if there is something, she can interact. Let me tell you, at the moment she talks with the sofa also, with the cushions also. She's my only daughter. I mean, it's a nucleus family, but still that problem is there. So she talks to a sofa set also, cushion also, assuming that the cushion is her friend. Now, suppose this character is there, and over a period of 6 months, she becomes very familiar with this character, then this character will become her friend. So the emotions, etc., she can. I mean, that's my idea. I don't know whether it is possible or not.
No,
I'm
I
just
think
giving you
that's
feedback.
I think that's very interesting.
No, I think it's definitely possible, sir. I think it's something that we will work towards in the future. As of now, I'm talking about the way we operate today. It's going to be a one-on-one session. What we can also do, and I know Gary's suggested this to me in the past, is that we can actually show Aditi the way the characters operate herself, right? So maybe one day we can give her access to the back end and she can control the character herself and try to work with it. I think I'm going to share more about how you can start today to become a part of the program in just a little bit. But I want to ask the audience if there are any more questions before I do that. Just questions about the product, questions about whatever we've spoken of so far.
I think there's one question talking about AAC. Yes, we are working on using this with even non-verbal children in an AAC format where the child can respond through whatever AAC system the child is using, be it PEX, be it a communication board, be it a app like a Prologue, 2 hours, Jello, whatever the child is using, we are working on using it like that also. So this is not limited to only children who are completely verbal. We are looking at even children who are non-verbal but communicating through different means.
Yes, and I would just like to add that there's actually a tremendous amount of creativity that the avatar pilots provide to make each session educational, fun, using their imagination to excite the child and to engage them so much. And that's one of the unique things about this, is that we can get that child excited without actually coming to their home, just by over a video call. And that is an educational session, and it's also a big help.
Absolutely. So someone asked if there can be multiple avatars for group interactions. So not at the moment. I think at the moment, it's going to be one avatar per session. We can also switch between different avatars anytime we want. But that's where we are at the moment. All right. I quickly want to, sorry. Yes, Yashna.
Yeah, sorry. And for group interaction, I think we can even include, if we find a child who pairs well with your child's language level, we can have 2 children and the avatar at a later stage, of course, so that we can interact with it. And, the children will also learn how to share the attention of the avatar,
Right.
which becomes an important skill later. So that also can be done.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I have some more information to share with you. All right. So this is Drayton. This is one of Gary's clients, and he absolutely loves the program. So like we said, we will each character performs a very, very different skill set and has a different purpose. And depending on what your goals are, what your child's goals are, we match the character that is most suited for that particular goal. Of course, this is something that you can access from the safety and comfort of your home. I understand how traveling to different therapy sessions or, coordinating between sessions can be difficult. So I think one of the benefits that we definitely have is that this is accessible to you at your convenience. I think also now there was some hesitation about how virtual therapy is beneficial or if it's effective. But I think the last year, fortunately or unfortunately, has taught us that virtual therapy is the way to go. I think I don't have to talk about how engaging the characters can be. I think we've all seen how gripping each session can be, the multiple things the characters can do in each session, and all of them are unique. Gary also demonstrated how we can incorporate real life situations and practice them in a safe space and make that fun. So that we remove the anxiety and only focus on the technique first. And then when they go in the real life, they're far more comfortable with that.
And I think we've seen this work with our pilot, the real life situation. We've seen this work, so we can say that for sure.
100%. I think it's very encouraging for us to see when the application of what they've learned in the session is not only to that particular skill, but also other skills. So I remember when one of the children that we were working with, spoke over you, Yashna, and Kickoff wasn't even there, he remembered that Kickoff doesn't like it when when he doesn't listen to him. And he apologized and he said, please go ahead, because that's what we've been practicing with Kickoff.
So he realized that I was not giving the other person a chance to complete their point. The child was constantly talking himself. So he paused in between. It took him few sentences. He paused and said, oh wait, Kickoff doesn't like this. You also don't like it, right? If I don't let you finish. So I said, yes,
Yeah.
even I don't, because I was also saying something. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. Please go ahead and complete your point. He actually used those words and said it to me without any prompt from my end.
Which is great because Yashna did not make a sad face like Kickoff did. So over time, what we've seen is that the skill set also expands itself. I think one of the very other interesting things that we've observed is how engaging it can be for the child, even in terms of reinforcement. So every time the child gets an activity right, he runs up and he can give a high five or a high 10 to the character on the screen. In fact, one of the kids, we do a little dance break every 10 minutes because he has so much energy that we literally, like, we see him sitting at the edge of his screen and he wants to get up and he wants to move around. So we've been able to channelize that very meaningfully in the session. We've seen kids race across the room. So Kickoff will race from one end of the screen to the other, and the child will race from one end of the room to the other, and then backward, and then they would run backwards. So there is so much that we can do in the moment to bring back the child to the minute, instead of telling them to bring their attention back directly. So otherwise, Yashna would have to tell him, focus, are you listening to me? We don't have to do that anymore, right? So we're building that rapport, which is so conversational. All right. This is something that is difficult to talk about, but I think sometimes a lot of clients have told us that for their family members or extended family members, sometimes it's difficult to understand why their child needs therapy. It's something that's still hard to fight for sometimes in our country. And I think because this session looks the way it does, it's so fun, it's so playful, I think it does help in overcoming stigma around finding additional support for our children as well. Um, so Gary's already spoken to you about how, you know, one of his students was able to order successfully at McDonald's. So we can replicate similar real life situations for you with restaurants near your house, from pictures from restaurants near your house. We can create those as backdrops in our sessions. I think for us, for Yashna and I, what's very important is that the family is involved equally in this program. Only then do we see the benefits really come out. I think Yashna focuses on creating a plan that's quantifiable, so we can also measure how we're progressing over the course of the weeks. And each session is personalized. So as and when we receive feedback, as and when we see how the child did in the first session, we're able to improve the process in the upcoming sessions. All right, I'm going to quickly show you a little bit more about what the session looks like. So it's usually a 40-minute session. Gary's already shown you how the avatar pilot controls the character real time, how we can use different backgrounds, different environments for the child to engage with. Before the session, we meet with the family and the therapist or the educator. They decide on what the goals are. We understand what his likes and dislikes or what his interests are, and we incorporate that into the session. The session is, of course, in that time, it's the avatar pilot's job and the therapist's job to make sure that they connect at every level. And after the session, we have data collection, and we get feedback calls depending on which we curate future sessions. And all you need for this is a computer and a laptop. We usually conduct these sessions over Zoom, so it's extremely accessible, and there's nothing in addition that you have to pay for the technology per se. We will be opening the Avatar Adventures program for some parents, and it'll look like this. So we'll have a small meetup before to understand what your child likes and what is your expectation from the program. Then we'll have 5 sessions in all. We recommend 5 sessions because we've seen that sometimes children do take some time to establish a connection with the avatars. Or it's possible that the first avatar that we introduce to them is not the most interesting. So I think over 5 sessions, it gives us enough time to understand what is working for the both of us and for the entire team that's involved in this setup. We then create a customized plan for your child, and which we, of course, update continuously through the course of the 5 sessions. We will be sharing an expression of interest form with you all. So if you're interested in joining the program, you can fill that out and someone from our team will reach out to you. We'll send you all the deadlines as to how you can become part of the program. But for now, with the first batch, we want to make sure that people who are available for 5 weeks back to back, we'll give those students preference. Although this is a limited seating batch for now because we do have a very small team. So we will be doing this on first come, first served basis. So yes, that's all I have to share with you now. I will take any other questions that might be there. We still have 5 minutes left.
And Shreya, one of the other things that we can help with the people who have these learning difficulties and maybe in their teens or young adults, and that is that you can use the technology to help them practice for job interviews.
Absolutely.
And that's another way that you can parents can give their children a bit of a boost, is to let them go through the experience of a job interview, work on if they have anxiety or they're just unfamiliar with what it requires to be in in a job placement situation. And this is something that's actually fun for everybody to participate in. And then the good news is when they come and they've successfully done an interview out in the world from what they've learned, right?
Absolutely.
I have one question.
Sure.
How this will help for a non-verbal kid, or even my daughter is verbal, but she doesn't communicate. She has language, but no communication. So how this program will work for her?
Currently, what is she using to communicate her needs? You mentioned that she does not communicate. So how is she expressing her needs?
She generally uses her gestures. She holds her hand, points it out to the object that she wants, and was she crying and getting frustrated. So I'm definitely looking for some skill to, and she has been going through a speech therapy for past almost 6 months, but I don't see that her communication is, she's picking up.
How old is your child?
She's 4 years.
All right. So see, of course, the therapist will work with you with a combination of verbal and non-verbal means, because I think the goal here for your child should be communication, not verbal speech per se, but communication. Because right now, as you also said, she gets frustrated. It's because you can't understand or she can't express what she wants.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we have to come up with a system for her separately, which will be her communication system, whichever method she's using. And the same method will be incorporated with our avatar. Our goals will be planned as per that. And only difference will be, we'll be teaching her similar skills. The only difference will be the output we are expecting from her will be either verbal or non-verbal, whichever she is comfortable with.
Yeah.
So our goals and all will be the same. It's just that if she's using a communication system, and again, just because she's using a communication system doesn't mean you need to stop giving the verbal input. You can always say it, and if she wants to repeat it or verbalize at that time, very nice. If not, it's okay. We've still understood what she was trying to say. So for example, if Kickoff asked a question and she tapped on something or indicated with a card, then Kickoff can still see, the person behind Kickoff can see what she's doing. So they'll respond, oh great, this is what you're saying. All right. And we'll move forward with it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question over here. My child is 4 years old. He can communicate in 2 or 3 sentences. Only my challenge with him is, when we ask him for the explanation or the narration, he is not able to do it. So how will this program be useful for him?
So again here, so as you mentioned, this is the goal you're expecting. So this, when we meet with you, you've told me that these are the things you would like to work us with your child. So we will create first maybe environments. It could be, for example, we did this with one of our pilot child where the child had trouble with, again, he was expressing his needs in sentences, but would not describe something. As soon as it came to description, he would just label ki boy, tree, ball, park. That's it. There was no description coming in. So what, and he was very fascinated with the sea world. So we use a fish character, we use Marley, where there was this background behind, there was the fish moving around. And through that, we got him to interact. I said, you have to tell him what to do, only then he'll do it. So then he started describing. Then he said, go behind. I said, he didn't understand where behind. So I said, what's that there? So he said, a blue rock. So I said, okay, so tell him to go behind the blue rock. So that's how we got him to start describing the whole scene to us by helping us with interact with the character.
Okay.
And I'd like to just add, Yashna, that sometimes love is the best communication that there is. And that's where the Avatar pilot expresses their love for the child and for the opportunity to help in each session. And so you as a parent have the love for the child. We are dedicated to the child also. And so we all work together as a team to help get progress going. And love is always part of that.
Okay.
Correct.
I could understand. Yeah, great. So Yasha, I'll certainly get in touch with you, to understand how we can start on this.
Yeah, I think they'll also be sending you an email because you're registered. So we can fill out that form also. I think Shreya will be going very soon to them, right? The forms.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put down an email ID in the chat box in case you've not registered and I've only joined the event today. You can please send us a message on this email address and we'll share the expression of interest form with you. All right. I think we are almost in time. Before I let you go, I really want to thank everyone for making the time. I also want to thank the Reservoir team, both Mytri and Ritvika, who've worked so tirelessly in making this day happen, in making this program happen. So a big thank you. If you have any questions after this, I'm also going to drop in my email address. If you have any questions about the program, please write to me and we can share more information with you. I'm happy. I think, Yashna, if you don't mind, we can stay back for a couple of more minutes. And if you have any more questions, we're happy to answer.
Sure.
But once again, thank you so much.
Yes, I think somebody mentioned about the PPT, but we are recording this session. So the recording will be available to, if you want to, your spouse or anybody else in the house wants to see it again, the recording will be made available to you.
Yes.
So keep up the good work in India, ladies. I'm so proud of you. And thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and to meet some of your friends today. It's fantastic. And I look forward to the opportunity to do it again soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gary.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you so much. Think anybody has any other question they would like us to answer?
Shreya, someone has sent a message asking if they could see the demo in Hindi again.
Yes, I can actually do that. speak off was mute. Hi, can I request whoever wanted to see the session again to please unmute themselves?
Yes, Shreya.
Mytri, do we know who asked us for the request for a demo?
I didn't catch that.
Yes.
Ms. Prerna had requested for a demo. I think her mic is off right now.
Yeah, I'm there. Thank you, Shreya. Please.
I'm not able to hear you. I'm not sure if there's a problem with my audio.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sorry, just give me 1 second, please. All right. Sorry. Can you please try saying something now?
Pardon?
Can you please try saying something now? I was not able to hear you earlier.
Okay. Can you talk with my child?
हाँ जी. So the avatar किसी भी language में बात कर सकता है. तो अगर आप हिंदी में बात करना चाहते हो तो kick off हिंदी में बात कर सकता है. It depends कि हमारे trainer को कितने languages आते हैं. तो उस पे ये limitation आएगा बस.
Okay. Can my child talk with you? She's 6 years old. She can talk.
Sure.
She can
Yes,
communicate.
absolutely.
Sure. If you could put your video on so we can see the
Yeah.
child also.
Sure. Okay. Hello, kar beta.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Kickoff. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
What's your name?
Alankrita.
Hi, Lankrita. आप कैसे हो?
अच्छी हो.
और आप कितने years के हो?
6 years old.
6 years के हो? Wow, that's awesome. कौन से स्कूल में जाती हो?
Class 1.
Wow, that's fantastic.
कैसी लग रही है ये?
उसका नाम नहीं पूछा. डायनासोर का नाम तो पूछा ही नहीं आपने. विकी. उसका नाम क्या है? पूछेंगे हम लोग. What's your name? पूछे उसको. हाँ पूछो. आप पूछो. तो आपसे बात कर रहा है, मेरे से बात ही नहीं कर रहा. डायनासोर आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम Kickoff है.
डायनासोर का नाम Kickoff है.
हाँ, क्या आप मेरे फ्रेंड बनोगे?
जरूर.
वाओ, मैं बहुत खुश हो गया ये सुन के.
और बात करो. और बात करो. किकऑफ से बात करो.
किकऑफ मेरा ना पॉली पैरेट बहुत अच्छा बोलते हैं.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
मेरा पॉली पैरेट जो है ना आपकी तरह बोलता है.
है क्या क्या बोलता है आपका पैरेट?
क्योंकि मेरा नाम पॉली पैरेट है, ये बोलता है.
That's wonderful.
Oh wow.
All right, bye bye. So nice to meet you. Bye bye.
Okay, all right. Bye bye. So nice to meet.
Show your polyparrot. Show your polyparrot.
No, Sinchan.
Okay, show your Sinchan.
Okay, here. Oh wow, very nice.
All right.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. If you have any other messages for us, please feel free to write to us, and we will be in touch with everybody. Thanks, Yashna. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.